see something for you and your family. Make a puppet from things you've got. Scissors and glue, now write the plot. Watch, make, share.
Today on People Behind the Puppets, I'm speaking to Oliver Hymans. He's a director and a puppet maker and an associate artist of Little Angel Theatre. Let's meet him. Hello, Oliver. I'm Angel.
Hi, Angel. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Thank you for coming. Can you tell us, how did you first get into puppet making?
Oh, that's a good question, Angel. I worked for a company called Blind Summit Theatre, and before then I didn't really know much about puppets, and I had a bit of a crash course tutorial with another designer called Nick Barnes, and then I just kept on making puppets and working for different companies, doing puppetry and learning on the job. So I've never really had an official training in puppetry. I've learnt along the way.
Oh, so really, if you want to do it, you can sort of find your own way in?
I think so. I think if you set yourself a project and you have an idea in mind, the best thing to do is just to have a go at making it. I mean, there are lots of resources online, videos on YouTube to watch. So I kind of look at what other people are doing and see if I can work out the design solution myself.
That sounds great. Well, what is it that you love about puppets?
Oh, another good question. I think puppets are amazing. I think it's amazing that we can feel empathy towards something that's made out of inanimate materials. And if you get a good puppeteer behind a puppet, the journey you can go on and the experience you can have and the enjoyment from a piece of wood or a piece of foam is really exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. So, as a director, what's the difference between directing a puppet and directing an actor?
Shall I tell you a secret, Angel?
Yeah.
Well, directing a puppet is much easier than directing an actor.
Really?
Because they don't talk back.
Oh!
So with puppets, we use puppets in theatre for things we can't do in real life.
Okay.
So if you need a character to fly
Oh, I can fly!
or to swim underwater for a prolonged period of time, we wouldn't necessarily be able to do that with a live actor on stage. So we use puppets for those sorts of things, and also for animals and other creatures that perhaps don't exist in the human world. And so with directing puppets, you have to remember there are actually a team of people behind those puppets called puppeteers. And it's really important as a director that we work closely with them. And we have to make sure that they are comfortable and that they know how to bring the puppet to life. So you're still working with people, but there's obviously another person or a puppet in between.
But how do you bring a puppet to life?
Oh, shall I show you?
Oh, yes, please.
Okay, so this is something that I do a lot in my workshops. And so for many people that have come to the Little Angel Theatre to do puppetry workshops with me, this is always my first thing that I do when I teach them. Okay, so the first principle of puppetry, and I'm just demonstrating this through a scrunched up piece of paper. Let me just get it set up. Okay, so the first thing that our puppet does is breathe, because we breathe to stay alive, don't we? Exactly, so... Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh. Okay, so breath, and we can breathe in different ways. We can laugh and cough and wheeze and all sorts of things like that to show the character. So the second thing we do to bring a puppet to life is we create an eye line, or we give the puppet focus.
But it doesn't have any eyes.
Well, this puppet doesn't have any eyes, but if you look at what I'm doing, I'm making the puppet look around. Okay, so I'm imagining, although this puppet is a scrunched up piece of paper, I'm imagining where the eyes are, and I'm imagining where the puppet is looking. Okay, so focus and eye line is really important, as well as breath.
Focus and eye line.
Okay, so the last principle in our top 3 puppetry principles is weight. Okay, so obviously this is a piece of paper.
Yeah.
It's very light, but I want to create the impression that it has weight to it. Okay, so I'm going to press down at the base, like so, with this hand, and I'm going to pull up slightly with my right hand, and I'm going to make it look like the puppet has weight.
Oh, it looks really heavy.
And I can make it light if I want to. Ooh. Or we can go really heavy. Anyway, I will stop there. We'll put this one away, won't we?
Oh, wow. So you can do all that with a piece of paper?
You can do all that with a piece of paper. In fact, you can create a puppet from any material you like.
Wow. Now, Oliver, what's your favourite type of puppet?
My favourite type of puppet, as you can probably guess from the paper person I showed you, are puppets that are made from objects or junk. Because we can recycle lots of materials that we would normally throw away and turn them into puppets. So I've actually brought with me today one of my favourite puppets that I've made, which is mostly made out of junk. This is a little boy called Scraps from a short film I worked on. But Scraps is special because although he's made from lots of different types of junk and trash, he's got a few special things inside of him. Some mechanisms there.
His eyes!
So we can see that he blinks, he can frown, he can look around, like so. And his eyes are even made from boiled eggs.
Boiled eggs! Wow!
There we go.
So he's got special mechanisms inside that make his eyes move and eyebrows move and things like that.
So there are some triggers inside and there's some very simple mechanisms where I'm pulling with my 2 fingers to make his eyes frown, eyebrows frown, and then the eyes blink. And even on the hands as well, which I couldn't show you there because it does take a little bit of stringing up. Each of those fingers has a separate pulley on that I can put little hoops onto my fingers and I can make each of his fingers move independently. So there's lots of expression in this puppet. It's quite complicated to make, but because it was made to be performed on a film, it means that we can do a take, we can stop, we can reset the puppet, and then have another go. But when we made this film, I was quite often lying on the floor puppeteering it. I had my hand through the back of a sofa. So we do sometimes get a little bit dirty and dusty.
Well, that's okay. You can always brush off. So, Oliver, have you brought a puppet with you that our viewers can make at home?
I have indeed, Angel. It is a really simple cloth marionette.
Oh, is that a string puppet?
It is, and there are 4 strings on this puppet to bring it to life.
Can we see?
We can. Let's have a go. I'm going to have to stand up for this, Angel. Let's have a go.
Hello. Gosh, I love how it moves, Oliver.
Yeah, so it's made from a very light piece of scrap cloth I had lying around at home. I think it's sheer, but you could use satin or silk. And it's got these 4 wooden beads on to give it a bit of weight.
Yeah, like we were talking about with the paper puppet.
Absolutely. So if I just let go, you'll see that it just is a piece of floppy fabric.
Yeah.
But it's got these 4 strings, one for the head, one for each arm, which also lifts the feet.
And one on the bottom.
And one on the bottom, so it can do a sort of downward dog yoga pose and then sit down on its bottom like so.
So clever. If you want to make a cloth marionette just like Oliver's, you can download the instructions from our website. Oliver, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Angel. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for watching. Bye.
Bye.